Hello and welcome to your weekly recharge of all the latest electric car news brought to you by the team at Electrifying.com. This week, we're going to be talking about how it has been apparent to us that you cannot please all of the people all of the time, as Nicola and I are about to get a really good telling off. Plus, we'll also be answering your electric car questions, dipping into the post bag to find out all your views on last week's episode. Welcome to the Kilowatt Half Hour. I'm very repentant Ginny.
I am apologetic Nicola.
And I'm right. Oh, sorry, I'm Mike. Yes.
And you're Mike.
Right.
Should we kick off with the elephant in the room? Normally we would go to the comments and the questions towards the end of the podcast, or should we just make people wait to find out why we're going to get told off?
We should wait.
Make them wait.
Yeah.
We're going to wait. Okay. That's the YouTuber hook, isn't it? Stay with us, gang. What I don't know. What do we do? Like find out later. Anyway, let's talk about some news. What have you been driving?
So professional.
I don't know what YouTubers say. Mike, you've been driving a lot of stuff, haven't you? But I love the fact that you've been from one extreme to the other, really.
Indeed. It's a rare day out at the office on Monday. I drove, two really different cars. You couldn't get them more different, actually. I drove, the first time I had to go in one of the MG IM cars, the MG IM5 and 6, which were crazy quick and loaded with tech and just about the most advanced things, electric car I've driven in a long time. And I also drove a Microlino, which is that kind of, it's like a Smeg toaster on wheels. It's a lovely, cute little sort of reboot of the classic sort of Isetta bubble car. It's something I've been following for ages. I had a deposit down at one point, but I decided not to do it.
Did you?
Yeah. You did.
When it was all delayed, and then the prices were a little bit higher than everyone thought. But it's a weird thing. Did you both get it going? I know you got it going it, Nicola. Did you get it going, Ginny?
Yeah, we all drove it. It's just a charming little thing, isn't it? But you can't fail but love it, actually. But I'm just not sure how practical it is. As there are a lot of those little micro car quadricycles, really. They're all charming in their own way. I think this probably has got more charm than any that I've seen. It's quite a punchy price tag, though, I thought, as well.
Yeah, wasn't it like 21 grand or something ridiculous? Yeah. But I mean, I took it for a little spin and I absolutely loved it. And I reckon I could get myself and both my dogs in there, and it's got a little bit of boot space. But the moment I saw Mike get into it, I was like, Mike, this is Mike's car. This is Mike's car, hands down. This has got Mike written all over it. This is 100% the car for you, Mike. You have to get one.
I mean, it ticks all the boxes, mate. It's impractical. I'd lose a fortune on it.
Yeah.
I must be ill because I didn't, I despite doing that and getting into it and quite enjoying it, I didn't leave thinking I absolutely have to own one of these, which I've done with certain other. I know. I don't know whether I don't think I'm getting old.
I still saw you looking longer. We had a Twizy there as well for reasons which will be revealed in a few weeks. But I still saw you looking longingly at that Twizy.
Yeah,
you had a glint in your eye with that.
There was a bit of seller's regret about the Twizy. I don't think I've really regretted selling any of the cars I've had, but the Twizy, I think that was, I called that a bit too early, really, because it's still great.
It's quick, the Twizy, as well.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised. It really can shift.
It's a nippy little number.
Which I'm kind of not really sure it should be able to be as quick as that. It feels a little bit too fast for something.
It is terrifying at 50 miles an hour in a Twizy. It really does.
Yeah, and I did drive it at full pelt. We were on a track, I hasten to ask.
Yes.
But still, it did feel. I'm not sure I'd want to be driving it at that speed out on the open roads. But yeah, that was a fun day, and we've got some treats coming your way from that day where we had a full-on team day. Nick, you've been driving something a bit more practical.
But could be described a bit uglier
as a car only a mother could love, or one of the variants, the EV4.
For me, the EV4, like I love, I mean, we all know, I've said this a million times, I love Korean cars. I think they're fantastic, and I think they're just like the best things ever. But then, we've fallen in love with the EV3. We love the EV9. I love the EV6. And then this car's come along and it's like they've designed it on a Friday afternoon and they've gone, let's just not bother with this one. And it's not a looker. And let's be honest, the fastback is ugly as sin. No, that's a firm no from me. I'm looking at Mike's face because I feel like maybe Mike likes it.
No, I mean, it does look like it looks like it was designed by two different people who didn't speak to each other.
Yes,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, and I think you do say this in the video as well, I actually quite like the hatchback. I don't think and actually, so I remember these pictures first dropped when I went out to look at them, and Tom and I were talking about them, and we were both completely in agreement on the fastback. It's a very unusual looking car, very, very, very different. Yes, it's a car with a really good personality.
Unusual.
The hatchback. I'm not saying it's EV6, and I'm not saying it's a great looker, and I don't absolutely love it, but I think in comparison, it looks a lot better. But I would love to know what people think. Go and check out the video of the EV4 if you haven't already. It's here on YouTube. We've got it over at the website electrifying.com. Let us know in the comments for next week what you guys make of the EV4, the hatch and the saloon. I'm
wondering if maybe the hatch just looks nice because it's parked next to the fastback.
Possibly.
It's a bit like it's the best of two horrible looking things. But the annoying thing is it drives really well.
It will do, won't it?
It drives really well.
And the other thing is the fastback. It's got the most range Kia's ever had in a car.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head. Is it 400 miles? Was it?
It's touching. Yeah.
It's because of course it's got that slightly unusual but very aerodynamic shape.
Yeah.
Mike, you're quiet on this, Mike. You're quiet.
No, I think it's a challenging piece of design. I think from the side there are some angles that work better than others, but the rear, from the rear sort of 3/4 onwards, both of them are kind of quite weird, and I don't think fit with the rest of the family terribly well. But,
yes, I think that's the thing. And most of us on the Electrifying team, we like a weird looking car. We like something quirky, something that stands out amongst a lot of cars that end up looking the same. We like that. But then this car's come along and it's like, it's a universal, oh God, no.
I know.
That's what it feels like.
I remember seeing it. So I saw it for the first time in studio in Korea last September. So I was out there driving EV3 and they took us to Namyang, which is where they develop their cars and their design studios are there. And we went into a studio and they showed us the EV2 in an early stage form in a clay. They showed us the EV5 and then they showed us the EV4. And even then I remember it was the one that was there in the corner of the studio in the saloon form that everyone was a bit like, oh, okay, that's yeah. Yeah,
no, they knew what they were doing by putting it in the corner. So they put it in the corner for a reason.
They did. Oh, nobody puts the EV4 in the corner.
Anyway,
let us know what you think, because I do think this will probably be another, rant of ours that will end up being a bit divisive, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I think you've already been told off in your video, in the comments I noticed, for having too much of an opinion on the way it looked. Because it is
how dare I?
But it is absolutely true that you were very much told that your job was to drive and assess the car and not to comment on the way it looked, Nicola, because that's for the individual to decide. Have you not seen that?
Is that what someone said?
It's a real comment. Yeah. I spotted it this morning. Yeah.
So does that mean we're not allowed to have opinions anymore?
It just means
surely that's our job.
Naughty step for again, as we're going to find out as this podcast goes on. You and I have been put on the naughty step.
Fine.
Okay.
As long as you bring me wine on the naughty step, I'll be fine.
Oh no, you don't get wine on the naughty step. So I spent a bit of time reacquainting myself with the Taycan Cross Turismo.
Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it. I know, it's awful. Yeah. It was just, I thought I'd take one for the team on that.
Thank you.
But it also coincided with the news from Porsche this week that they are really scaling back its EV plans. So I don't know if you guys saw that news. So they're massively hedging back on it, scrapping battery production. They're extending combustion models. And it triggered quite a big hit on the share price. And it's also going to cost them a lot of money, shy on 2 million, to start to adjust all their production plans to go back into, producing more of the combustion engine models, because of course they had been set on becoming an EV only brand. And it just made me think, why are they doing that?
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing it, I know, because they don't feel that the global market is where they need it to be to only be selling EVs, but they're doing a bloody good job of them. I mean, that Taycan Cross Turismo is a beautiful, beautiful thing to drive.
Mm-hmm.
The Macan, fabulous car to drive. And I do think I don't know, I found it a curious decision from somebody that actually is doing really great stuff on electrification to do that. But anyway, that's what they decided. But I was also like pouring through the options list on it, because you got to love a Porsche options list, haven't you? They are just great.
Where the money goes. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. So the base car was £99,000 for this. So it was the 4S Cross Turismo. It had £26,000 worth of extras on. I laugh. The paint. So there's this fabulous paint colour, which is like a kind of, you've seen, it's like a kind of purpley type colour.
Oh, it's like berry something.
Berry, it's called. I can't remember what it's called, actually. It's called, but that from memory was 1,400 quid. The wheels, beautiful wheels, 21-inch wheels. I was utterly terrified every time I went anywhere near a curb. £3,500. But it's got this thing. It's got the Porsche Active Ride system, and that's a fairly new suspension setup that Porsche has done. It's £6,500. I've got to say, if I was speccing the car, that is worth every single penny. It is the ride on that Taycan Cross Turismo with the active ride is utterly unbelievable. It stays so flat under braking, accelerating. When you corner, it kind of bends slightly into it, like a motorbike. You go over speed bumps and you're like, was that a speed bump? Really? It's got that. It does feel nice and agile and sports car like, but it's also got, wow, just that kind of very luxurious, super refined feel that you get in a really expensive saloon car. I think there's a lot on the options list I wouldn't be going for, but if anyone is fortunate enough to be in the position of speccing one of those over the coming weeks and months, I mean, hats off to you if you are. You're winning at life. I would definitely consider that. I thought it was amazing.
Wow. That's quite a statement.
Quite a statement. It was my favourite thing about the car. I wanted to. I drove over quite a lot of speed bumps just to kind of like reassure myself that I wasn't getting, I wasn't being wrong in my assessment. It's bloody brilliant. Okay, so that was that. So that's what I was driving. Don't know, what do you reckon about the Porsche news? You surprised? I was a bit surprised, actually.
Yeah, I feel a bit surprised by it, but also there is a part of me that's like, it feels maybe a tad predictable that they've decided to do that. But I'm like, because I'm trying to think of everything else within their lineup, and obviously they're trying to keep their customers as happy as possible. So are they just going to stick to doing? They're just going to do some plug-in hybrids rather than fully electric vehicles. Is that going to be their plan now?
Well, they're definitely pushing through, because the Macan was electric only, isn't it, at the moment? So they're definitely they're pushing through a combustion engine version of that, and they're just going to revise the lineup going forward. But I mean, as long as they don't drop EVs completely, I guess. But it's obviously a very expensive decision to start rolling back on. There we go. So what else are we going to talk about on this podcast? Are we going to tell people why we're in trouble yet, or are we going to go and do some news? What do you reckon, Mike?
Let's do some news. I'm going to give you the news highlight of the week. So there's quite a bit of news in the last 7 days or so. But the one that caught my eye was the Volvo EX90 had an upgrade. Now, it's only been out for a year. Mm-hmm. Now, normally when car manufacturers do a model year update, you might get a new colour, different design of wheel, something like that, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
But Volvo have gone proper big time. It's a huge change. They're changing the architecture from 400 volts to 800 volts. It's getting a whole new brain that runs the infotainment and all the systems as well. Do you know how many calculations it makes per second, this new brain system it's got?
Well, they all now will tell you hundreds of millions, won't they, in their press releases, which just kind of blows my mind and doesn't really mean much, but got to me. But go on, how many?
500 trillion operations per second. I mean, I can't decide what I'm going to have for breakfast, and this thing is making 500 trillion operations per second.
Wow.
Now,
that's nuts, isn't it?
that is seriously impressive. If only that LiDAR system wasn't sat at the top of a car like a London taxi sign.
I know, but apparently that's the only place it'll work properly. But I mean, there is. I mean, it's all good news, but it's particularly good if you're one of those early adopters who bought the car in the first year, and you're thinking, "Hang on a minute, this is a completely different car they're rolling out now."
Mm-hmm.
It's apparently Volvo says this is all retrofittable, and it will be. They'll take the cars back to the workshop.
To transfer the car from a 400 to 800 volt system is retrofittable.
How they do that?
Really surprises
me.
me.
I can imagine that it ran as an 800 volt system. It was designed as an 800 volt, and they stepped it down to 400
They're
because
now
obviously all the rest
access.
of the stuff work with it.
Okay.
So now I think it's enabling it. As I don't think you could normally convert any 400 volt into an 800 volt car by flicking a switch or changing a bit of software. But apparently none of the early customers are going to lose out. They're going to, I don't know how long it takes, but all cars they're all going to be invited back. And get it updated. So I mean, it'd be quite a different car, I imagine, because I think it was slightly hobbled by the fact that the software wasn't ready. On that car. That's the one you drove in the States, wasn't it, Nick?
Yeah, and everyone was having technical issues with their cars, and it was all, it's pre-production, but also at the same time, literally the following week they were being rolled out to customers. So we were all like, it's just still be this pre-production at this point. It just doesn't feel right. Everyone's screens were crashing and all that sort of stuff. So software updates are going to be very handy for this thing.
But I guess in some ways it does make sense to me, because we're about to drive the ES90, which we saw earlier this year, which is, of course, the saloon version of that. And that already had this stuff on, didn't it? And it had from memory, a more powerful NVIDIA microprocessor.
Yeah, it's got all that stuff already. So all the stuff that the EX are going to get now.
So they've obviously gone, right, we'll give it all this, check it all works, do it all on that, and then we'll transfer it, which is a sensible thing to do. But I think what's fascinating for me just about cars generally now, and I really noticed this actually when I was out in Munich at the motor show, was suddenly they all want to shout about, have we got a Qualcomm chip? Is it an NVIDIA? What's its processing power? What is it, a Snapdragon? This new language about computer processing is now intrinsic in when we're talking about cars. And that's something that I think until I would even say over the last sort of 12, 18 months, we just wasn't really on our radar, really, was it? What tech, who was making the chips going into the cars. Whereas now it's often like front and center of what they're telling people. I don't know. Does it make a difference to your buying habits, whether the car's got a Qualcomm chip or an NVIDIA chip? I don't know.
No, not sure it does, but I think it does.
Yeah.
I think it does. If you're the kind of person that's buying this, if you've grown up with computers and smartphones being, the defining factor of them is the chips that run them. Maybe that's the thing, or it means nothing to. It means very little to me. Yeah. As long as it works. But yeah, I don't. People do think people have some sort of brand loyalty in the way they do with Microsoft and Apple and that kind of thing. Do they think, well, I'm an NVIDIA guy or girl,
I'd love to know
I think
that.
I want to follow that. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, let us know. It's podcast@electrifying.com, or you can let us know in the comments below. But yeah, they both had like massive presence at Munich with their own stands, and as did Google as well. Sort of TED talky things happening, and again, it's just not something you would have seen. It's almost that crossover between sort of the big tech events now becoming much more integrated into the automotive ones. So
I mean, I've noticed the same just at normal tech events. They now have whole stands for automotive stuff where everything's all just being blended together. I think it's a generational thing, isn't it? Because I think a lot of people, I mean, even, younger than me, sort of in their 20s, actually find their tech a very important thing. Their whole life revolves around tech. If they can buy a car that then they know is still kind of a drivable computer, that they understand how it works and they like that technology and that particular chip, then I guess then the car itself doesn't really matter. It's all what's going on within its brain, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess it ties into that whole, what's that big show in Vegas, Consumer Electronics Show every year for more, for quite a long time now. That has become a bit of a test bed of both, hasn't it? But yeah, let us know. Are you a fan of a certain kind of processing chip? Would it influence your buying decision on your car?
Yes, good question.
Any more news? What else? Any more news?
Oh, towing cars.
Towing cars.
Towing cars. Best tow cars announced. This is Batch's department, really, because Batch loves a tow car, doesn't he? And he does.
He's
involved.
Is he not a judge?
He is a judge.
On
He is a judge
okay,
on the tow car awards. Yes. Well, I mean, the kind of headline figure here is that I think 6 of the top category winners in the tow car awards were EVs. So there's not like a special electric car category for that can tow little trailers or anything like that. This is the proper, they test them with all the other petrol and diesel cars, and EVs won 6 of the major categories, which I think is showing that there's definitely progress from here. I think it's not perfect, is it, by any stretch in terms of towing and range and everything, but just to give it, Enyaq, Aria, Porsche Macan and BMW iX all won their categories, and the iX was named was electric tow car of the year. So this is good. So if you do tow, I mean, it's all sort of moving in your direction, I would say.
It definitely is, isn't it? You do have to pay for it though, because you do still need the big batteries, don't you?
You sure do.
To do that. So yeah, it does come at a cost, but it's definitely getting there. Manos is going to be happy, isn't he? Because the Jeep Avenger has got the government electric car grant. Well, it hasn't got the government electric car grant, but it gets its own electric car grant, is what I meant to say. So, yeah,
and then some as well. It's the big one.
Go on.
So it's Jeep's own one, because the Avenger itself doesn't qualify for the grant, but it's £3,750. So they've gone for the full amount that any car
only
can
actually
get.
One car has actually got from the government, which is the Ford Puma. It's the only car that's received that. So good on them. Indeed.
And it's 0% finance as well. So not only they chopped the thick end of £4,000 off the list price, they're also doing 0% finance. So if you're an Avenger fan, which Manos is, I would say that now is the time to strike a good deal on one of those.
Manos's love for the Avenger is actually exhausting.
It's unfathomable as well.
Yeah.
We were in Malaga this week, and we were just out driving. And as soon as he spots one, he goes, "Oh, it's the greatest car ever made! Oh my god, I love that car so much! Let me take a picture of that car. Look at that! Oh my god, it's so amazing!" Every time you see one.
It's a good car, but he's obsessed.
He is obsessed. I don't know. I mean, it is a great car, but he really does love it, to a degree that I don't understand either.
No.
So, have we got a Barnard's bargain for us?
Yes, I've got 2, and there's, as usual, one to buy, which came up last week in the podcast. The Ioniq without a number, the original Ioniq, Wind Knife, as it was known. Tom's found one of those. It's a 38.3 kilowatt hour one, 11,250 quid. Only got 9,000 miles on the clock, and has a perfect battery score. And I've just checked; it's still there. You can find it on electrifying.com/used cars. We've got rid of the hyphen, Ginny. Last week you said, "Why have we got a hyphen between used and cars?"
And now we've got rid of it.
That's the power. That's what I do. You ask for it, it gets done. So there's no. You can still use the one with the hyphen; it goes to the place. Right, and a leasing deal now.
Just before we go on to the leasing deal, I just wanted to talk a bit about used cars, because I don't really. It's really interesting, isn't it? As people, know what you do and start saying, "Oh, I'm thinking about going electrics." I've had 2 lots of this week. I was away filming for a couple of days, and Jeff, our lovely sound recordist who lives in Bath, was like, "I really like to go electric, but I just can't afford it." I was like, "Well, what's your budget?" It's like 10, maybe 11,000, and want something used. Went through what he wants. It's like, Jeff, of course you can. So I took him through the listings, and I was showing him, there's a really good Peugeot E208 on there, decent range. I think it had like 16,000 miles on it, just under 11 grand at the time, and it was an absolute eye opener for him.
Really?
As to what now you could get. And he still just thought, no, it's going to be way too expensive for me. And literally he's gone away with about 3 different things that he's going to look at, and he's going to buy a used EV. And he just was convinced that it wasn't even worth him bothering. So that's, I think, what's interesting is where the prices on used are coming down. We're getting to that magic point now where you can actually pick up a really good one for under 10 grand, and there's going to be more and more of those. So that would do. And then there was somebody else there that was saying, I also want to switch. They wanted something new. But increasingly now those conversations are coming from people. But it was the used one that I found really interesting, that I think lots of people do think, no, they're still too expensive. you still have to worry about the batteries. And I showed him a couple of our articles and showed him some cars, and he was like, right, I'm on it, I'm doing it. So he's going to go off and buy one, which is brilliant.
Very nice.
So welcome to the world of EVs, Jeff and family.
Yeah, Jeff the sound man. Fantastic.
He said he'll let us know so we can do an official welcome to him.
Excellent.
So what was the other
I've got leasing, right? Okay, put your lease hat on now. I'm going to give you another what would you rather have, okay? Because the government grants being filtered down, they're starting to come into the lease pricing now, so they have been reduced. Would you rather have Renault 5, 40 kilowatt hour Renault 5, £210 per month? Okay, this is exactly the same deals. Or would you have a Renault 4 with the bigger battery for £255 per month? So that's £45 difference.
I'm holding at five. The five.
Okay.
I mean, this all comes down to how you run your life. I mean, for me, I don't have children. I just got a couple of dogs I need to throw in the back. So for me, it's the Renault 5 all day. But if you do have kids and you need better access to the rear space, that Renault 4 deal is magnificent.
I think, again, what's that showing is just how competitive it's getting now out there. I mean, the fact that it's cheaper than something like a BYD Dolphin, that's pretty. It's a good price, isn't it? Oh, sorry.
Phone. Someone's on the phone.
Sorry, they've gone now. Okay, that was just somebody phoning to disagree with me on that. So,
that was BYD.
It was BYD on it. Yeah, ring from China.
A car that Nicola said, a car I learned to hate rather than the car I learned to love.
I did say that, didn't I? I did say that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what else? So we've done our would you rather. Welcome to the world of EVs. Do you want to welcome somebody, Nick? Have we got someone to welcome to the world of EVs or to a new EV? In fact,
are you talking about a section on the script that I haven't seen yet? Hang on a minute.
Yes.
Well, the big bit with the green highlight. Yeah, perhaps.
I'll go for it. Jude Brown, 4103, who got in touch via YouTube. And this is referring back to the conversation we have where apparently the Ioniq that we were just talking about has been widely referred to as a wind knife, which I haven't heard, which I loved. So Jude Brown said, we just chopped in our wind knife like what you did there for an Insta on Monday. It's Friday now. We'll never have the 6+ miles per kilowatt hour, but so far we're getting 4.8 to 4.9, and the weather's cooling down. Can't wait for summer. I was getting antsy about getting parts for the Ioniq. Hyundai made us an offer we couldn't refuse, having invited us in for their sales weekend. My wife is quite disgusted with the unmissable colour I chose, sienna orange, but I love it. I really love the colour too.
Love an orange car, yes.
I can find it in my car park. I can fit my walker in the boot or behind the seat. So if you're in Kent, look out for Jude Brown in the orange, sienna orange Inster. Give him a wave and embarrass his wife, definitely. It's a great car, really good thing, brilliant.
I love a bold colour in a car. That's a great choice.
I know, exactly. I mean, I've got that Renault 5 in that bright Kermit green, and I absolutely love it. And my son is mortified by it still. He literally is like, oh God.
Oh, it's great.
So, like, literally kind of puts his hoodie up when he comes out from the college car park for me to get into the car so his friends can't see him.
Right, okay, I've caught up with where you are now, so now I can do the next one. Here we go. This is from Neil Lark. Hi, Neil, who says, I can't help it. I'm an over-researcher and have to understand everything before I spend my hard-earned cash. Fair play, Neil, fair play. So last year, I thought about getting a FEV, so started my research. Having seen pretty much all of your videos and hundreds of others, I came to the conclusion that a FEV is pointless. Batteries last, there's lots more to go wrong, etc. in a FEV. But having seen the huge leaps in battery tech this year, I've decided to wait and lease an EV for 2 years to see what unfolds. I have just booked a lease on a Ford Puma EV Premium. All the add-on packs, £8,000, 8,000 miles a year, 9 months deposit, £164 a month for 23 months. I think that's a great deal. What do you think? Would that make a Barnard bargain?
I think that would make a Barnard bargain.
That's amazing.
That's a result.
That's a price, isn't it?
164.
That's a good car, isn't it?
It's a good car. Really?
Yeah, great car. Good fun.
Wow, that is absolutely a Barnard's bargain. So
Yeah.
and welcome. Let us know what you think of it, Neil, as well.
And the best boot space you will ever see. Incredible boot space. Unbelievable. You can literally hide a body in there. We put Vicky Parrott in there. She fits.
Oh, you did hide Vicky Parrott in there. Poor Vicky.
Yeah.
Did we ever let Vicky out, by the way? She's not still in
No.
there.
I haven't seen her.
No, she's fine.
I'm going to give you a buying dilemma from Peter Scherenberg, who I guess emailed it in. And if you do want to email your questions in, it is podcast@electrifying.com. So I have a buying dilemma. I'm about to go fully electric after years with my beloved BMW 330e plug-in hybrid, which is one of our very, very popular early reviews actually on the site from when we did do quite a few FEV reviews. It's really popular still out. Anyway, its logical replacement is an i4, but BMW is obviously selling as many as it wants, and there are very few deals around. I can't find a monthly price for under £600. Ouch. So I've been looking at the competition. Tesla Model 3 remarkably cheap because at the moment, I guess, the Musk situation, you'd guess right. I can get a long-range all-wheel drive Model 3 for just under 350 quid a month on 0% finance. That's a huge difference. But I'm worried that I'm going to be the butt of everyone's jokes if I go for Tesla. Do they offer a version without the badge?
I mean, you can do what everyone else has been doing and just change your badges over. I've seen a Tesla with a Honda badge along the back.
Just get a sticker for the back that just says it was so cheap I couldn't resist.
Yeah.
You know, nothing is going to disguise the fact, as I'm sure you know, that what you are driving. I think a sticker, if you feel it appropriate, is absolutely the right thing, the right way to go, and would explain your decision if you're feeling remotely uncomfortable about it, because that is a pretty good price for a good car.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It's a tricky situation with Tesla, isn't it? Because, I mean, if you disagree with Elon, it's annoying that it would then affect your choices, because also at the same time, you've got everyone that works at Tesla that probably also disagree with Elon, but they're just doing their job, and they could probably do with getting the money in themselves and selling their cars so they don't end up all losing their jobs. So really, you're doing it to support everybody else, not Elon. You're supporting everybody else.
And there are some very nice
look
people
at it like that
at Tesla that we know. So you know, there are. It's just such an interesting thing, isn't it? You know, that kind of the consumer's right to I guess have your thoughts and feelings made by just refusing to engage or buy a brand, but you know, a certain brand. But yeah, I do think a sticker is the way to go with it. Or, as Nick said, you could get a Nissan badge.
Stick a Nissan badge on it.
Nissan badge on it. There you go.
If you don't get it, listen to last week's podcast. It's fine.
Oh dear. Okay, should we move on to why we're on the naughty step?
Should we leave this to Mike? Go on then, Mike.
Mike, over to you, Mike.
Well, if you listened last week, you'll realise that we discussed the Nissan Micra and its similarity, shall we say, to the Renault 5. And I merely threw in the question as to say, well, if it's basically the same car, which was your beef, why have they got different scores? Why are we down on the Nissan and up on the Renault? So, and much to my amazement, it's never happened before, people came to my defense in the comments. So we have a selection. I mean, no, it's not a selection. That was this was like 20%.
Just read them.
For about 10 pages of comments, all saying that basically you're right.
Yeah.
Just read them, Mike. Just do it, and we
go
will
on.
sit and
You start. Go on.
I'll start with Gary McPherson, who sent us an email. He was so engaged with this. He said, as a former Nissan engineer, I feel the need to inform you that the platform on which the Renault 5 and the Micra ride on was very much a Nissan project. Its CMF-B architecture was developed for the Duke, in brackets, and Clio, and then adapted for electric by Renault when it became the CMF-B EV. It's a bit geeky, but it's there. And it was renamed Amper Small. Just because you can't see the Nissan parts doesn't mean there aren't any. Love the podcast, by the way.
I know.
Okay. I'll move on. I'll do another one. At Simon DeHaas 8784, people do not buy cars for cockerels. In reference to the fact that there is a very small black cockerel silhouette on the windscreen of the Renault, which I would suggest that 97% of people, even if the Renault, wouldn't notice, and even fewer people would notice on the Micra. But anyway, you two found it. The idea that Nissan decided to put their badge on the 5 after it got good review is bonkers. The funding contribution from Nissan would have all contributed to developing the 5 in the first place. I think it's stupid to assign any extra kudos to either of them based on which came first. If one is a 10, the other has to be a 9 or a 10, depending on whether you like the design as much. Do you want any more?
Yeah, go on.
You're not looking repentant, either of you.
I have something to say, but I'll say it at the end. You can carry on.
Cox Jewel says, I think you're being very unfair on Nissan. The two cars were being worked on collaboratively for years, with Renault probably contributing more. If the Nissan had come out first, you would be accusing Renault of slapping their badge on it with R5 heritage on show on the bodywork. Rob Smith, FA. I imagine someone who's bought a Micra won't give a flying what's it about being a Renault 5 with a different badge. Full stop. Mike's right. I could read more, but you just, Ginny, are you eating your words? Exactly. Les Whitehouse, dissing the Nissan and loving the Renault sounds a little snobby to me. Hoping I'm wrong. You're not wrong. They're snobs. Okay. They're badge snobs, the pair of them.
Okay.
I think this, joking aside, you've all been told off here, but does it open a larger question in terms of, I mean, I kind of see this podcast as a speakeasy, really. I think there's the site and there's our reviewing, and there's this where we kind of chat with each other. We perhaps give our more honest opinions on this. I don't know why I'm trying to defend you two, because you're both guilty. But
thank you, Mike.
what I'm saying is you can like a bad car and you can also dislike a good car. Is that fair?
Yes,
it is fair.
But I would say that when we do have our review hat on, generally speaking, I think the aim is always to put an objective review of the car that's been placed in front of us. But I think perhaps last week you were expressing your personal opinions towards it.
Yes, thank you for that, Mike. I do want to also give a shout out to Tom Newton 440, who says, sorry, but this is why Nicola is not in charge of a car company.
For one of many reasons why Nicola's not in charge of a car company, I would say.
It'll be a disaster. Wine fridges in all cars.
Can I also just add in Niall Church 269, who said, if you're going to be a Micra, don't be a Renault. Otherwise, you really are being lazy. But then that's all we can read out, and you could have gone on with the support.
To be that was the only one that was on your defence, to be fair.
So I'm just going to say, we understand that they were made together, sharing platforms. Yes, maybe Nissan put in a bit more work, etc., behind the scenes before the Renault was starting. Whatever. No, listen to me. Shut up. Listen to me. Right, we get it. However, the Renault 5 was launched a good year before that. And from what Renault have put in their vehicle in terms of behind the steering wheel, the stalks, how you control the volume, etc., that's been in Renaults for years. And it's just where Nissan didn't add in their extra flavours on the interior. They've done their flavours on the exterior, but on the interior and what it's like to drive, there was no effort there to make it even slightly different from the Renault. I understand they were made at the same time, but they also at the same time have to go in their separate directions. And that's not what Nissan did. That's all I'm going to say, but also I'm sorry.
Did you have the same beef about the Seat Me, Skoda Citigo and Volkswagen Up, which were identical cars except for a badge?
I didn't, but I think the issue is that we were just grateful back in the day then that there was some electric cars. We didn't really care. There were hardly any of them around. And I think it's more of I guess it's just more of a, what have Nissan done with the Micra to give it their brand identity? That's what I felt, is that I think it matters more now. It didn't, with my serious hat on now, I know about the platform stuff, of course, and that's not what we were saying. The platform is, of course, part of a much bigger partnership across that whole alliance. But it's the fact that, like Nick just pointed out, you get in the interior And it is literally like it's everything around you is Renault. It's got that very distinctive headliner, which is a throwback, of course, to the Renault 5 turbos of old. So it's more about the fact that in a world which is increasingly competitive, and Nissan as a car company that is struggling, they really are. That's not, that they haven't differentiated their brand enough with that car. And Nicola would like to make another point. Go on, Nick.
I also think going to try and stand up for Nissan here, that maybe where everything was all being built and planned at the same time, it was just such a shame for Nissan that Renault 5 landed with a bang and won everything. And everyone went, wow, what a car. That's how you bring back a name, blah, 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 blah. And everyone raved about it. And everyone's gone, wow. So the Renault 5 was just put up on this incredible platform of everyone loving this car. And then Nissan revealed their car. And it was just like, because Renault did so well. I think if the Renault 5 landed as an average car, we wouldn't be kicking off so much, because we just kind of go, oh, okay, it's similar. But because the Renault 5 landed with such a bang, it's then made the Nissan look less, if that makes sense.
I agree. I do agree. But I do think it is more about that thing that with the issue that I think you and I have with it is the fact that it isn't, there's nothing in there that they've done, as you said, they've done their own thing outside. And I think it looks cute, actually.
Yeah,
I like the way
does.
it looks. But you go inside and it is just like being in a car it's so much like a car from another brand.
But it's also the suspension and it's everything is copy paste.
Is that going to bother buyers though? Is that going to bother somebody who's got a Nissan dealer on their corner and they're going to drive it and they're going to think this is great?
The suspension and the setup and all of that stuff, that's not what I've got my beef with. I actually haven't driven the Micra yet. I've only seen it. I haven't had a chance to drive it. That's my beef with it. Is not about how it drives. It is not because I'm sure, I've spoken to you, spoken to Vicky, it drives really well. But it's more about the fact that it is this curious thing that is a half Renault, half Nissan, that I'm not really sure it's got its own identity. And I'll come back to that point, that when you have got now 150 mainstream electric cars in the UK, and if you cast your mind back to when we launched Electrifying 5 years ago, and when the three that you were talking about, Mike, were around, the Me and the Up, we reviewed about 27 cars. So there's so many cars now that I think that's what Nissan hasn't had the opportunity to do, is to personalize it enough. Of course, look at the Taycan and the Audi e-tron, same car pretty much, but you don't ever get in those cars and feel like these are the same cars. They've got very different personalities. Yes.
It's also, if you go full top spec for the Micra, it's £1,000 more expensive than the Renault 5.
Yeah, there is that.
You get leather seats though.
Yeah.
Which somebody pointed out, if you have a dust mite allergy, that's the only car you can choose out of those two.
I've never picked up
I really think we need to move on. Okay. Anyway, we're sorry. Nicola and I have... How long do we each have to spend on our respective naughty steps then later this evening before we're allowed a glass of wine? Half an hour?
I don't know. I'm not the judge and jury for this. I'm merely reporting the facts as they've come to me.
Okay. Right. Okay. We're sorry. We're sorry, not sorry.
We're sorry you feel that way.
Yes. We're really sorry we made you feel that way.
That's how you do it.
You're just going to get more complaints now if you're not taking it seriously.
Bring it on. It's good for the algorithm. I don't mind.
Yeah, I love it. Anyway, so let's go back to Instars. People have been spotting Instars. Yay! Go on. Let's do some Insta spotting.
Hey, Robert McGregor 2575. I saw an Insta on the M90 headed for the Queensferry crossing today.
Yay!
Very exciting. And then we've got SDP 101. Insta spotting. Head down to the coast on the south side of the New Forest. In a short 20-minute drive, 3 went past in the other direction. On the return journey, at least 1 was spotted.
Okay, can I just say that if that was at the start of the summer, there was a launch happening down there, because that's where they hold us.
I've just thought that. Yeah.
So please, can we just have an update on that? Because we need to know, if you could let us know again in the comments below, SDP 101. Was that a while ago or was it recently? Because that's really important information.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. But here's where you'll notice, like, if you ever see a load of the same car, it's because there's a car launch going on and it's being driven by journos.
Well, there, on that point, I think it's time for us to go and find our respective naughty steps. Nicola, Hugh?
Fine.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
And yeah, I guess that's sort of, I feel like we should go now. Sorry.
What else? What have we got coming up though? We got things coming up. Oh, I'm going to Porto on Monday to drive the new DS4.
Oh, that's exciting. That's
Yeah.
good. I'm going to Korea on Sunday to drive some new Korean cars.
Oh, I'm excited for you to have the nice fried chicken. Korean fried chicken, so fit.
It is the best thing in the world. I will be definitely in a karaoke bar having some fried chicken one night next week.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous.
I'm there. So listen, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Kilowatt Half Hour. As always, we forgot to say the thing that we're meant to do every episode, which is if you are watching here on YouTube, please also go over and follow us on your local on your podcast platform, because that helps to build the podcast, which is what we want to do. Yay!
Thanks, team.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.